This week, update, Team CC Global Domination. You liked that, didn't you? That was epic. Been a good month. This right here is the proposed kit list from Wolverson Fitness. Yeah, we had Jason from Wolverson down to walking around the unit recently. We kind of spec'd it all out with a plan as close as I can get to it. There's 20 tons of kit that needs to come down. It needs to come down on an articulated lorry, so I can't wait to film that and see that coming. 400 square metres of flooring, 8 half racks, a 4-bay rig, 12 stations each that have the Olympic bar, 150 kilos of bumpers, the fractionals, dips, safeties, a bench, suspension trainer, masses of Astro, dumbbells, 1 to 50 kilos, 2 extra sets of 10s to 30s, a 4th set of 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s, 4 ski ergs, 4 rowers, 4 assault bikes, 6 sets of kettlebells from 12s to 32s, 10 sets of full sets of bands, ropes, foam rollers, the hybrid balls, plyo boxes, 4 sleds, some hex bars. Yeah, it's going to be epic. Jason's done a great job looking after us and getting accustomed to what we want them to look like. There's an interesting question of do you go with a big rig or do you go with racks? Now, I've half-arsed it and gone rig and racks, but not just a big rig down thing. Where the rig would be cheaper, but it's because, and I want us to have a bit more of an identity, everywhere has just got a big rig down the middle nowadays, which is cool, and I get it, and it can be awesome, but I like the racks because it holds on to the purest strength and conditioning coach in me. That's what you expect to see. Racks are where we've all come from. The fundamental basis to work around. You keep lots of open space in front of it, but the rack is the core. From that, everything can be secured. And then the rig's over there for when we need it for the team zone and that kind of training. So I think that's the right way to go. Big, thick Astro, 4 to 6 meter wide Astro. We're just going to finalize that down the middle for lots of movement, and we can do all the sprinting and conditioning and sled work that we need, but it's also just a great multi-use area. We've been finalising the finance side of things. Obviously the quote, of course it does, because you get excited when you're doing it, is bigger than original. That's because we've got more kit that's good. And then the actual building quote just keeps escalating. 50 and then 75 and now 100 because of the air extraction system. I think I joked about it in the first video. Oh, it'll be 10k that, bro. It won't be fucking 10k, will it? It's like 21 to 35. What I'm doing right now is desperately scratching around trying to find people to quote for it, to be able to quote and actually put it in within 5 weeks from now. There's got to be a better price out there. So trying to hold out so that happens. Right, so here's one for you. The difference between setting up in a random warehouse in the middle of nowhere and in a shopping centre. Now, pros of a shopping centre are more footfall, it looks nicer, and there's loads, around for you and your coaches and your members to build it up. And there's hopefully a big resident population like there is in Bournemouth. The cons are regulation. I've watched a load of videos, I watched Strength Coach TV, an American show that sort of does a bit like this. Anthony Renner goes round and looks at different gyms, interviews the owners and talks about problems. And I remember them saying you just wouldn't believe the regulation. And I'm like, oh, that's Americans, don't worry about it. Just had no concept of what could be involved when you get into something like that. Air extraction systems, fire alarm systems and fire baffles, emergency lighting, access. It's just a whole nother level and something that I wasn't really ready for. But it's all moving forwards. Hopefully the time frame, we start our building works on the 5th of November. The landlord should basically finish their works then around that day, just a shop front going in. Our works can start. Hopefully it's a 4-week turnaround on those works. We open for soft open in December. Lots of trials, lots of tasters. I reckon we're going to have a competition, a broad scale, all-round kind of one-day competition. There'll be a bit of powerlifting in it. There'll be a bit of conditioning in it. There'll be a bit of other varied stuff. I don't know. We'll see what it's like. But hopefully we'll get that done in January. So look out for that. The Facebook stuff, obviously I talked about the Facebook ads kind of not working and being a flop. I've been learning hard on that and trying to refine that. We've got to a point where we signed up 21 people this month so far, with 2 or 3 or 4 just left to sort of clear out. We're running a cycling specific strength and conditioning program that I'd like to try and get 3 or 4 more on top of those other ones in to start on Tuesday. And to be honest, actually it's just come from consistently focusing on it rather than assuming other people are doing it. Putting it as the number one priority for the day. Do that first. It's the payback on that has been massive. Not least because of the actual payback, but actually the fact that you've done that at the start of the day, the whole rest of your day you just feel so much better for it. You've got that big ugly chunk of thing that you needed to do that was tough out of the way. The rest of the day you can focus on the normal stuff that you were doing that was the fun stuff that you'd let come to the front but was actually not really the driver. I have a reminder that buzzes on my phone. Do your money makers. Make sure you do the things that make you money, that move you forwards. Don't just get caught up in the other distraction. I've been having lots of meetings. So apparently Bournemouth is a hotbed for app developers and lifestyle companies that actually have put a real emphasis on their benefits packages. So paid gym memberships at various places. And so I'm optimistic that we're going to get at least 5 companies on board. We've probably got 3 so far, kind of verbally agreed to do kind of transformation programs and things for their staff, or try and work out a deal for their staff. So I'm optimistic we'll get a chunk of that coming in the next couple of months, especially once we've got the gym going. We can bring them in for trials and move them forwards. I think it's awesome that's the case, like the employers are actually paying for that. So that might well become quite a big part of how we at least get over the initial hump of moving forwards. So if you've got any questions about how we got this Facebook sorted, the potential problems that you probably think you might see if you're going to open a new gym somewhere soon and you want to try and... What I didn't do, and I wish I had, was actually go around and ask what kind of problems people would have and actually take it more seriously. So if you want to know more about that, just comment in the post below. Obviously hit subscribe, please, so that you get updates on this as we go forwards and you'll learn from it as we go. And speak soon. Comment below. Cheers.